Falling home prices have devastated small businesses and complicated what entrepreneurs would like to do to grow their own firms. Robbie Whelan has the story in the Journal today and joins us on set now with the details. Robbie, welcome.
Thanks.
Not a very encouraging sign, but one that people may not necessarily put together, which is that if you want more small business formation, if you want to encourage entrepreneurship, you got to make it easier for people to borrow against their homes.
That's right. Yeah, it's kind of like this vicious cycle or a negative feedback loop or whatever you want to call it. It's we need more jobs to get the economy moving, to get housing prices up and home sales going more briskly. But more jobs means more new businesses, and particularly more new small businesses. When you can't borrow against the value of your home because the value of your home has tanked, it makes it that much harder to launch a new business, to take risks as an entrepreneur. So
how important was borrowing against people's homes, or what they call home equity withdrawals? How important is that for business formation, or just for access to capital?
It's very important. I mean, there are studies, the latest studies have been from a couple of years back, but what we've seen is about 1 in 4 businesses use their home as a source of capital in the early stages. Really, the issue is that small businesses are launched in stages. You raise one round of capital, you maybe hire a few people and launch your first marketing campaign, or do your first testing for a product prototype, and you come back and you need a second round of funding. And that's where home equity really plays a key role. Is that, I mean, because you don't have people who are launching warehouse lines and you know, production lines with their homes, but you do have people who launch a business that may someday grow into a business with hundreds of employees.
Well, you talk to a guy who's trying to launch a business and says if he had access to more capital, he could tell us about it.
Right. We talked to a guy who is a self-proclaimed video game geek named Keith Mullen from San Diego, who has a very cool idea. He was playing video games and he realized that his hands were getting all greasy from the foods that he was eating. He was eating pizza and chips and fried chicken and whatever it was, and he decided to create this product called Grub. It's like this snack food with kind of like sweet junk food kind of flavors, PB&J, barbecue, and it comes in these bags that you don't have to stick your hand in it and get all greasy. You just tilt back and dump it. And I
think this is going to be handy for people a lot beyond gamers.
This is really,
it's going to have broad appeal.
Well, so the product itself
probably
is
generational.
Right. It's called Grub. You can imagine how popular an idea like that might be with younger people especially. And he's got a production facility set up with a third-party manufacturer, and he's the one taking it to stores and marketing it and launching it. And he wants to hire more people, but he can't because he, like so many other Americans, is in foreclosure. He's lost his home, and he no longer has the borrowing power.
Yeah, first of all, fascinating article and well done, because as you say, we all talked about for months and years, literally years, about can we get a recovery that sort of works around housing? And I think we've all kind of, many economists have come back to the notion that you really can't, that housing is so essential. And here's just another key reason. A question I had for you, is there any data on, it seems to me another source of very early stage funding for people who aren't wealthy in their own right, who are shut out by banks, is sort of friends and family kind of money raising. Is there any, is there any data on that, on how much of that kind of fundraising fuels, the very first initial stages of new businesses?
I think we've seen that in the last 2 years, especially, friends and family money has become a huge source of funding for it. Probably the primary source. Beyond what people call angel investors, which are these networks of high net worth individuals who go out there. They're not quite venture capital firms, but they're wealthy people who connect with small business owners and provide funding, to somebody they don't know. Besides the angel networks, the friends and family and personal savings and credit card sources are really the only game in town for getting funding for a small business.
Of course, people rely there. They're paying exorbitant interest rates in some cases. It's not ideal, but to many, it's one of the only options. Is there any response on the policy side here that we are, President Obama today is likely to announce like a broad refi program?
Just as it happens, Kelly, there is. There's the two sort of dual ball and chains on consumers right now, as far as the housing market is concerned, are the lack of ability to refi and the lack of home equity lending, right? And so today we saw some news. We're likely to see something today from the Obama administration, a broad refi program that makes it easier for people to refinance their loans and then thus reduce their monthly payments, pump some more consumer spending into the economy.
But still, the trouble is, and I remember looking at this data a while ago, but you used to have a situation where people refi, they took money out of their home. Now when they refi, they're often putting money in.
The cash out refi is probably a thing of the past, but still, it will still be significant just because there's that issue of monthly savings. I mean, we've got a household where if you can reduce your mortgage payment each month by $400 or $500, I mean, that's a big.
You're just freeing up some capital, and some of that could flow into the very first stages of a new business. Yeah.
Well, then you can buy some gamer grub every month for your kids, and
or at least a video game or a video console or something.
Yeah. Well, we should follow the gamer grub story and see if it tells us how the economy is doing beyond this instance. Robbie Whelan, thank you so much, sir.